Welcome to Magic Beyond the Books. Today we're talking about the quite curious but equally captivating subject of animagi. I'm Rene.
And I'm Calen. Just a warning that there may be some spoilers as we jump all around the Wizarding World timeline. But let's get into the wonderful world of, and it's actually pronounced Animagi. That's what I looked it up. Yeah. So Animagi. I know that's going to be. I know we've been saying animagi, animagi, or just any combination of the sounds that you could put together with that word. But yeah, Animagi.
Animagi. Okay, bear with me if I say this wrong throughout this episode, but I'm going to try. Yeah. Magi? What did I say?
Animagi.
Animagi. Okay.
So what is an animagus? So a witch or a wizard that could transform themselves into an animal. And it could be, I think, any animal. We'll get into later like what would be probably the worst animals, what would be the best animals to turn into. But apparently no known animagi has been able to transform into a magical creature. So no dragons, no phoenixes, no trolls.
Just your standard like deer, whale, dog, normal animals.
I wonder if magical creatures look down upon regular creatures like wizards look down upon muggles.
You know what I'm saying? That's a good point. I need to read. I have that Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I should read up more on like what's the level of intelligence there with the magical beasts. You know, like, is it higher than a normal animal?
I definitely feel like there is, because what's that one from Fantastic Beasts that is always trying to steal all the gold?
Oh, a Niffler?
They just went over them in one of the books.
Yeah, the Nifflers, I think.
Nifflers, right? Yeah, that guy that's a devious little boy.
Yeah, and they do have them in, I think is it the fourth book? They talk about Nifflers and they have them in class?
Yeah. Hagrid has some leprechaun gold that he hides in dirt or something like that, and they just dive in it like water or whatever.
Actually, yeah, they actually bring up Nifflers again in the fifth book because Lee Jordan actually puts them into Umbridge's office repeatedly, so their office gets ransacked.
Good prank.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nifflers. But yeah, so an animagi can transform into any animal.
And to be clear, the people that are turning, they're turning into one animal though once they turn. So
yeah, they can't turn into. Yeah, I should clarify that they can't turn into any animal. They initially it is just, I guess, the universe decides or the whoever decides. Typically, it's the same, I guess, process that the world decides what a person's patronus is, because that was something that was in the notes, that typically it's the same animal that your patronus is.
So it's guaranteed. So my understanding then, so to differentiate, so your patronus is your same as your animagi form, but it could change because some people's change to like the person they love, their patronus or their animal form, maybe.
Was that a thing?
Yes. For example, Nymphadora Tonks, who we know marries Lupin, she at some point, I don't know what her original patronus was, but at some point her patronus changes and it becomes a werewolf.
Oh.
Because she's in love with Lupin. Yeah. And then, Snape's is a doe, which we're kind of assuming is Lily's patronus.
So I would assume that the animagus form stays the same as your original patronus. That's what I would think. Because, I mean, I wouldn't think that if Nymphadora was able to... Because a werewolf is a magical creature. So if Nymphadora was able to become an animagus, her form would magically become a werewolf,
Yeah, it wouldn't change. So your animagi form is going to be what it's going to be, and your patronus is probably going to be the same, but maybe your patronus changes or is different.
Yeah.
Possibly, is my understanding.
Yeah. I think because like your patronus is probably a little bit more determined by your inner feelings, I guess, maybe. I don't know, because it's
Mhm.
not always the same, back and forth between Patronus and Animagus. But, that is interesting that you said that it can change. I wonder if there's any like witch or wizard relationships that have gone awry because one of their Patronus, their partner's Patronus didn't turn into their Patronus.
You're saying
You
this,
know,
the
like you
Patronus
don't
is.
feel like, okay, you don't love me that much that your Patronus didn't change.
Oh, I thought you were saying that this is surfacing affairs because their Patronus changes to.
That too. That's a big that could be pretty wild.
Yeah,
They could
yeah.
change the contact. Some people change their contact names or whatever of their mistresses or whatever.
Why is your Patronus suddenly the pizza guy?
Yeah.
um, but yeah, but continuing on this clarification of the differences. So we have animagi that, and then patronuses that are probably the same. Then there's magical creatures and things like people that are werewolves. They're not changing at will.
Yeah.
That's the difference there. And a werewolf is a magical creature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty unfortunate if you're a werewolf.
Yeah, you don't choose that. Whereas Animagi, you have to like go out of your way to become one.
Yeah, you have to undergo. Do you know how?
I saw it in the wiki. I think we should go through it.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. First, you have to. This is insane. You have to hold a mandrake leaf in your mouth for a full month, from full moon to full moon. That's the first step.
Yes, this is the first step of like 20 steps or however many.
I have 4 steps, but it's like 4 big steps, but there are a lot of little things that have to go right.
Yeah, or there's a lot of repetition of things, but
you have to really want it.
For a comparison, so like James and Sirius and Peter, it took them. The Marauders. It took them almost 3 years to do this, which I always thought was because it was difficult in the sense of like it was painful, which it seems like it could be as well. But as we're going through this process, it seems like it's just super specific.
Yeah.
Like if you're sleeping and the mandrake leaf falls out of your mouth, got to start over.
If you're a big drooler.
Yeah, let's say you're on day 29 and then this mandrake leaf falls out of your mouth. You got to start from the beginning.
Yeah. You got to get yourself some mouth tape or whatever. Have you seen that before?
No.
In the Muggle world, if you're not familiar, people will buy mouth tape because apparently I don't know what the reason is, but it helps you sleep better. It helps some people sleep better. So like you'll see people like sleeping and it looks like they have like duct tape over their mouth.
Now that you're talking about it, I think I have heard of this, but I thought it was just a little tiny piece of tape over, like you should still like breathe. The
original iteration looked a little bit different than the more polished, marketable version, the better 2.0 version, I guess, of mouth tape. But yeah, so get yourself some mouth tape to keep your mandrake leaf in your mouth.
So do you think thus far, so step 1, keeping the single mandrake leaf in your mouth for full moon to full moon, do you think you can accomplish this?
Probably. I don't think I'm a mouth breather per se when it's sleepy time. Yeah, I think I could do it.
All right, check back in. We're going to do some research with Calen's wife. We're going to see. We're going to see if Calen's a mouth breather at night.
So yeah, could you do that? Holding the mandrake leaf in your mouth?
I feel like this would be tough for me.
What if you swallow it? How big is a mandrake leaf?
I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, how bulky is this and hard to keep it in your mouth? I guess maybe there's spells that they can use to keep it in, maybe, or is that part of it where you can't use a spell?
I wonder if it's like it knows you cheated, and it's not. That's not the spirit of the game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it seems like you got to really put in the hard work here. Otherwise, something might go wrong.
Yeah. You're just gonna look like you're having a dip in for the entire month.
That's what I was thinking. People that do dip, should probably this would be easy for you. I feel
The
like
first
I'm
step, at least.
I feel like I'm the kind of person that I just like after I eat every meal I want to like brush and floss my teeth. Like I don't like to have the feeling of some like food in my mouth.
Yeah.
So this would be a tough one for me. But if I could do it because I wanted to turn into an animal.
Yeah. I don't. That's something I didn't think about. Like when you're brushing your teeth, you got to keep that thing in there. It's
Exactly.
not coming out. You can't let it come out. So it's gonna taste like everything you've eaten that entire month.
Yeah, it's
You know.
super gross. And like
Yeah.
if we're really gonna go there, like if you're kissing people or any other thing with your mouth, this thing is in there. So I don't know.
I'm just gonna take a leap of judgment and just say like if you're trying to do this, just mark off kissing for the entire month. Like no kissing, no
But there's
makeout sessions, no snogging, whatever it's
yeah,
called. Is
yeah,
snogging kissing? I think snogging is kissing, right?
yeah. Our British listeners is snogging. I always thought snogging was like making out kissing though, or
Oh,
is it
okay.
just like is a peck still a snog? Tell us. I don't know.
Yeah. Inform us. Get us informed on the art of snogging.
Yeah, but anyway, that's just step one.
Yeah, that's
Let's
step
keep
one.
going.
I know there's people out there who are like, just get to step two. God damn. So number 2, step 2, at the next full moon. So you've had this mandrake leaf in your mouth for a full moon to moon cycle. Expose the saliva in. You have to, I guess, spit the saliva that's in your mouth that's been, I guess, marinating with this mandrake leaf, into a vial, and then expose the vial of saliva to the moonlight. Add a piece of your hair, a silver teaspoon of dew, and chrysalis of a death's head hawk moth. So you need saliva, you need moonlight, you need your own hair. So if you're bald, sorry, you can't be an animagus. Silver teaspoon, dew, and then moth. So that's 6 things, right?
Yes, and I also read that the silver teaspoon of dew has to be from a place that has not seen sunlight nor been touched by human feet for 7 days.
Oof. Okay.
So you've got to basically the dew
so like an
itself.
untouched forest or untouched grass or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe if I was to do this, I'd probably take like a bowl, I guess, maybe, and put it over a part of grass to make sure that like there's no sunlight and there's no like no one walks over it, right?
Uh-huh.
You
And
got
then you monitor it for or like you then
for 7 days.
and then
Yeah.
you monitor it for 7 days, and then the night that you're going to do this, you take the bowl off so then the dew gets onto the grass.
Yeah, and then
wherever.
you get it like first thing in the morning before the sun
Yeah.
comes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
But
strategy.
So there's and then again, if it's a cloudy night, you're SOL. Because if it's not visible, if the moon isn't visible, you got to restart.
Yeah, exactly. Like just to be clear, for all of these steps, if any one thing gets messed up, you have to start over. You can't keep going, or the transformation could have bad side effects or not work.
Yeah. So yeah.
Does anyone know what a death's head hawk moth is? Is that a real thing?
God bless you if it's a big one, because I know there's some big moths out there. It's got to be, and it's a chrysalis of a death's head hawk moth. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, you're saying it right every time. You're killing it. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I was trying to look at it. It's a species of moth characterized by markings that form a shape reminiscent of a human skull. So
okay, that's pretty cool. But you need a chrysalis.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Death's head. Yeah.
What is a chrysalis? Is it like the shell of one? Like that transformed from a caterpillar to a moth.
Yeah. So it's like, or a moth or butterfly at the stage of development when it's covered by a hard case shell thing. So,
So you got to catch it while it's sort of transforming.
Yeah, so not quite caterpillar, not quite moth, like in the in between stage.
Okay, I don't even know how you would get your hands on that. I mean, I guess we
like,
now
oh,
know
man,
why
hard.
there's only like 7 or something like that, or 8 registered ones.
Yeah, this is making more sense now. Why more people aren't? There's just not like animagi everywhere.
Animagi everywhere.
Okay,
but
so next step.
Yeah, so next step. The last part of that step 2, is then you place the vial in a quiet, dark place so it could remain undisturbed. Okay. Next is you have to wait for an electrical storm, which I'm assuming means a lightning storm, some sort of rainstorm with lightning. During the time in between preparing the vial and the electric storm, the wizard must repeat an incantation at sunrise and sundown with their wand pointed at their heart.
I might be saying this wrong, but it's amato, animo, animato, animagus.
Okay.
And
I'm sure after a couple times you'd get it down,
I mean, you're doing it every sunup and sundown, potentially for months or a couple days. It depends on how frequently lightning storms are coming in your area, I guess.
I wonder if the process or the magic, the aura knows if you are like practicing it out of turn. Like if like that month that you had to just have this leaf in your mouth, like, is it in the spirit of the process to practice that incantation? Like you're just doing it like from the process you like you decide you want to be an animagus, and then you just start doing the incantation at sunrise and sundown every day just so you have it down. It's not that complicated of an incantation. It's like 4 words, right? So maybe not, but yeah, so
no,
you have to do
I
this.
think, I mean, you've got to practice. You've got to be able to practice because this is so specific.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, if
it's tough.
Yeah, if this were me, I would be trying to time this around like summer when there's a lot of rain here, so that I wouldn't have to wait so long for the next storm.
Yeah. Like every day you get a shot.
Exactly.
At an electric storm. Now, is it wait for an electric storm, or is it the first lightning storm?
I think it has to be the first one.
Okay.
But I think, like, let's say,
for sure, but
that's what I'm guessing. But then that means it's just until the next one. So let's say the next one is 2 days from when you have the vial. Then you just have to say that sun up, sundown chant 2 days, and then
you're good.
Yeah, and then you're good.
Then you can move on to step 4, which is when at last there's a lightning storm, the wizard had to retrieve the vial, which, if everything was done right, should have been found to contain a blood red potion. The wizard had to immediately move to a large and secure place, somewhere they could achieve the transformation safely and without alerting anyone. To complete the process, the wizard had to point their wand at their heart and recite the incantation one final time, then drink the animagus potion. So that seems like the easiest step, the last step.
Yeah. As far as the rigor of the repetition and the specifics of you, I mean, you're just like going to a safe place and transforming. Yeah,
essentially. And you're saying that, and I think I read this too, but it says, however, if any part of this process was done incorrectly, it had the potential to backfire and cause the transformation to go horribly wrong, such as causing permanent half-human, half-animal mutations. That would suck.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
Basically, it seems like if you even think you maybe messed up a little part of this, like the leaf falls out of your mouth for a second, you need to just stop and start over again.
Yeah.
Or
even then, I'd be so paranoid. I'd be like, something I forgot that I did wrong, or like something I didn't even realize I did wrong. There's no, I guess, limit on the amount of tries you could do, but you could just do trial run for like a couple months in a row or whatever, and just kind of make sure you're doing everything right.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say one of the days where you have to do the chanting, you sleep in and you miss sunup. Like, bam, you have to start over again from the beginning, and you
gotta be disciplined.
Yeah, you got to be really. I mean, it must have been hard for the Marauders to do this because you're in school. Like, it's not like you're an adult that makes your own schedule. I mean, you could be trying to get your due, and then a teacher like stops you or something.
Yeah. Or you're at home during the summer and your parent is like, why do you have a leaf in your mouth?
Spit
For a
that out
month.
right now.
Yeah, spit that out right now. Why do you have all these moths? Why do you need a silver teaspoon? I could just get you a regular teaspoon. Like, why do you need a silver one?
Exactly, yeah. But the transition, I mean, it from what I read, it seems like it's can be a little bit painful your first time, and you have to make sure you don't panic when you're doing it. So it seems like it could even go wrong that late in the game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this process is very precarious, very dangerous, very I'm sure that there were more animagus attempts to become an animagus than we know, just because it would be, I don't even know what would, like, would you be alive if you were halfway between like if you did something wrong and then you got half animal half human, like you'd still be alive, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could be like a mermaid.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, most
But
likely
don't
you're
try
not going
this
to
at
end up
home.
being like you're not going to be end up being a fish. I hope not. I mean, I guess so. This is what I'm thinking. So if you are talented enough to be to go through this process and you have the discipline, I would hope that you've done a Patronus charm prior, so you kind of understand, okay, if I want to become an animagus, my animagus is a fish, so not very useful. So I'm not going to be an animagus. I'm going to do something else with my time. So you guys, you have some sort of preview of what you could be.
That's a great point. Like, if you're thinking about even attempting this, you should just focus on producing a
Patronus.
Patronus first.
Yeah.
And
If you're
seeing.
smart.
Yeah, I mean, that you should do all the preparation you can, because this is so precarious. It seems so dangerous that the Marauders did this when they were kids.
Yeah. Because was Remus a werewolf all the time, or what did it happen his first? I can't remember specifically.
When he was a young child, he got bit. So it was way before he even came to Hogwarts, and then Dumbledore made special arrangements so that he could go.
Okay.
So he was from the beginning, but I don't think the others found out that he was a werewolf until at some point along their journey. I'm not sure when exactly.
Yeah, so he had made friends, and then the friends were like, oh, cool, yeah, we'll just try this.
Yeah, he had made these friends, was trying to keep a secret that he was a werewolf from them, and they were like, dude, we know.
Dude, we know you're a werewolf. We've known for the entire time. You just disappear for like weeks at a time or whatever.
Yeah, you're got all these excuses. You're always, leaving.
Sick.
Like, you're gonna start noticing after a while. Like, they're sharing a dormitory, so.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how you transform into animagus. Apparently, to transform, you don't need a wand. But there are spells that can force you out of your animagus form.
Yes.
So that's a spell that they use on Peter Pettigrew in the Shrieking Shack when they're getting him to reveal himself.
Yeah, and I think they used something to make him not be able to transform. Then we see him use a wand to transform back, if that makes sense. But that's not it. That's just because whatever that spell is was holding him from transforming. Because we know that Sirius was transforming in prison. McGonagall we see transform a couple times, I think, and you never see her like using a wand specifically to do it. So
yeah, but it's completely different than transfiguration. Not the same at all. Transfiguration typically, or I think most of the time, or all the time, the person is imparted with the brain of the animal and the animal instincts. So like, you can't transform yourself into any animal you want, and then you're just sort of a human within an animal form. transfiguration you require as a wand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we see Crumb kind of half transforms into a shark, but it's not like, Crumb's not an animagus.
Yeah.
He's just using a poorly performed spell, right?
Yeah. Which he attempts, like that's what he means to do, right? Or does he want to become a full shark?
I think the intention was to become a full shark to be able to navigate the water, but I think it just didn't work out completely, because I don't know that you can intentionally like half do a spell like that.
Yeah. Maybe you don't get all of the, I guess, characteristics of the animal, because that would be crazy if he intended to become a shark, because then you just eat everybody. So I would assume maybe you just get like some of the instincts, like you're more aggressive or whatever. Which even makes it funnier that when Moody transfigures Malfoy into a ferret.
Oh,
yeah. And then he's just stuck as a ferret for a little bit. So yeah, coming back to it, two completely separate things: transfiguration and animagus. One you need a wand, and one you really don't, and one's more voluntary and one's not voluntary, really.
And to further complicate things, there's also metamorphmagus or metamorphmaguses. That is also something different. Those are people that are born, like the only person we see is Tonks, or actually we see Tonks and then Tonks' child, but they are born being able to manipulate their physical features, not into an animal per se, but they can at will, without a wand, manipulate their physical features, like change their hair color, change some of their facial features, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But that's also something different.
Masters of disguise.
Yes, they're master of disguise.
Like, I think one of the one example I've come across in my reading is the when they're at the dinner table in the Order of Phoenix, and she's just changing her hair.
Yeah, I think she kind of does it like as an entertainment, or just does it kind of like freely, or like trick. when she feels like she wants to change her hair, she just changes it.
Yeah.
But they do mention like she goes through a period where she's a little bit down, because she's not with Lupin and she wants to be with Lupin, so she's kind of going through some heartbreak, and she struggles with her metamorphosis. So it seems like if you're maybe like going through some like tough times, or you're going through like a heartbreak, like you just went through a breakup, you might have trouble doing it, even though it's something that comes natural and that you're born with.
So yeah, that's sort of the animagus, and then how that differentiates between all the other sort of, I guess, transfiguration types of things. So who are the animagus, animagi? Who are they? There are at least 7 registered during the 20th century, and then there's 4 more unregistered that we know about.
Yeah, 7 registered, 4 unregistered. The 4 unregistered being James Potter, Peter Pettigrew, Sirius Black, and Rita Skeeter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's what we know of. Maybe some other people are doing it that we don't know, but
yeah. So Padfoot, Wormtail, Prongs, and then I'm going to call Rita the Dung Beetle, because she's a shitty person.
The Dung Beetle.
Yeah. Which I respect. I respect how Hermione handled that situation with Rita. I would have gone a little bit further if I was Hermione. Anyways, I've been like, all right, your time as a journalist is over. No more publishing anything.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't stop her from like getting back to writing again. I guess kudos to Rita Skeeter for going that far out of her way for her job, for journalism. Dedication,
though. Yeah, like it could go terribly wrong, but now she has like the ultimate disguise until Hermione, this being the smart person and clever person that she is, she figures it out. But until then, nobody was able to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
She was just getting all these scoops.
Yeah. I mean, this is where the registration... So obviously there's the benefit of registering in that, you're not going to go to prison if you get discovered. But it's not helpful because let's say like if you want to use it as a way to hide from Death Eaters, they have access to the public registry. That it doesn't help you. You know, you can still be found.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run from the law. You can't run from Death Eaters. Like, how are people meant to be using this?
Yeah, I think that the reasoning behind the registry is to make people not want to do it, because again, like you said, there's not really a point in becoming an animagus anymore because everybody knows, and that's the whole reason why you would want to become an animagus, is because you could disguise yourself and kind of just be discreet, sneak around, do whatever
Mm-hmm.
sort of you wanted to kind of, if you need to be discreet, if you need to make it so that nobody knows that you're there.
But yeah, before people come for us with the whole werewolf thing also, so yes, the Marauders changed into animal form to help Lupin because when there's a werewolves aren't dangerous to animals. They're dangerous to humans. So that was their way of helping him kind of somewhat enjoy his transformations, and they were
Mm-hmm.
safe because they were in animal form. But that was back in the day when the wolfsbane potion didn't exist, and then basically by the time Harry Potter's in school, wolfsbane potion exists, and you can basically take it, and you still keep your mind when you're a werewolf, and you can just kind of like sleep basically and just hang out as a werewolf
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're taking it. And yes, it's a hard potion to make, but it kind of seems like that eliminates again that here's the one reason why it would make sense to transform if you want to help out your werewolf friend, but now you don't even need to do that because there's a potion.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it particularly expensive though to make, difficult to make, like you were
Yeah, I
saying?
think it's hard to make. So you probably, I mean, I guess there's a point there that if you don't have someone or you're not someone who can really like make potions well, you might
Mm-hmm.
not be able to use it. But I mean, if you're a werewolf, I feel like
You might as
would
well just learn how to make wolfsbane now.
yeah.
Like you just become a potions master. Like
Exactly.
you're up a creek with no paddle. You might as well try to make your own paddle.
What better motivation do you need,
Yeah,
basically?
yeah, to become an exceptional potion master. But yeah, and I think the ingredients are kind of tough to
Maybe hard
find or
hard to
whatever.
come by. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. The ministry should do some sponsored, creation of wolfsbane. Um get some help to those people that really need it, because it sounds terrible to be a werewolf. It's not, doesn't sound fun.
Yeah. And I want to talk about McGonagall because she's the only one we haven't really talked about.
Yeah.
Um, that transforms. I mean, she is registered. Yeah, she's the rule follower. I saw that she did it when she was 17,
Wow.
and so that seems pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean, you're of
Courageous.
age. Yeah, but apparently Dumbledore helped her, even though he's not one. I guess he understood the theory and he kind of coached her through it.
So Dumbledore and McGonagall, was Dumbledore more of like an advisor to McGonagall? Like he was a teacher at
Yeah,
the time?
he must have been a teacher at the time or something because he's older than her.
Yeah.
And he's been at Hogwarts for a while, so I think that's the scenario. I didn't see that in the wiki. It just said that he coached her, but I don't. It might have said that he was her teacher.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
Kind of like how Lupin taught Harry to do a Patronus, maybe
Uh-huh.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and not many better advisors to coach you through this process than Albus Dumbledore. But I mean, I feel like McGonagall kind of, she uses it, and then the only other times I see her, we see her use it in the movies at least, and maybe there's more times that she uses it, is like when she's just like flexing on students. Like she just like in class, she's a cat just sitting and the students probably come in and like, what's this cat? And then she just flexes on everybody, just pops out of nowhere as a animagus.
It seems like it's kind of like the ultimate transfiguration feat. So if you're going to be a transfiguration teacher,
Yeah.
it kind of shows that you've like done all of the things, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What's the purpose of the transfiguration, I guess, in general? Like, I guess you could use it to become a shark, right? If you're in the Triwizard Tournament. But I mean, what other what other uses are there of transfiguration? Like I know in the classes they're turning like rats into like tea kettles or whatever, but like that doesn't seem very useful.
I know Cedric turns a rock into a dog to
That's true.
distract the dragon,
Yeah.
but it's not just animals because you could transform, like for example, the chess set that in book 1, McGonagall transforms those so they're kind of alive or not alive, but
So
they're
that's a form of transfiguration.
yes.
Okay.
So it could be like animating something. It could be maybe you're just like maybe you're stranded on a desert island and you need a match, so you make a match out of nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's not just animals. It seems like it could be anything switching from different objects.
Yeah. So I guess I have my knowledge of transfiguration, and we'll do an episode on transfiguration in the future, maybe. But I guess my knowledge of transfiguration is a little bit shallow because that's all we see, or that's all I have gathered from transfiguration classes. They're just like turning one slightly useless thing into another slightly useless thing. So I guess that's just for practice for students.
Also, there's as they get later, I think it's in their 6th year, in their class they're changing the color of their eyebrows as a like class activity. So it seems like as you get more advanced, I mean, you could do human transfiguration even to some level. Like maybe aurors use it to just kind of like transform some parts of their face to go into disguise. Maybe, stuff like that, like where you're using it just to make like tiny tweaks, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my dumb brain I'm thinking like, oh, this is a useless thing. Like, why would there be an entire subject dedicated to it? They're just turning animals into household goods. Like why would that be a full subject? But I just didn't know anything about it, I guess.
No, yeah, and it's fair, and especially like I think one of my kind of qualms with the movies, which it's hard because there's just not a lot of time with the movies, but I feel like as the movies go on and they get older, you don't really see them in class and you don't really like learn what they're learning. So
Yeah.
you're just getting them when they're like first year, second years, and they're just learning like basic magic. And it doesn't really make sense. Like, okay, where does this actually go? Like, what they're turning rats into cups? Like, what's the purpose of this?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that was McGonagall. She is an animagus. She's also an expert in transfiguration.
All right. Do you want to do some trivia?
Yeah. Let's do some trivia.
I've got 3 questions for you.
Go for it.
So, first question. Who says Rita Skeeter's biography about Dumbledore, quote, contains less fact than a chocolate frog card?
I'm assuming this is... What book is this from?
This is from 7.
Ooh, okay. I think I have... I think it might be... It's either Dumbledore's brother or it's that lady that's at the wedding. Am I wrong? Both counts.
You're wrong in both counts,
okay.
But you're close as far as kind of the age group. The correct answer is Alpheus Doge. He's a school friend of Dumbledore's, and he was also at the wedding.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't the lady; it was the guy that was in that conversation.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember the lady saying something about their old family friends about somebody. I can't remember. Whatever.
Yeah.
When I get to the book part,
yeah, the lady. I think the lady you're referring to is Ron's like great aunt. And she was talking about like being excited about reading the book, and they were all talking about like rumors about the Dumbledore family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for the next question?
All right, for 1. Yep.
When Peter Pettigrew is hidden in his animagus form, the Weasleys call him Scabbers. We know this. To keep his cover while on the run from the Ministry, Sirius also goes by another name, like in his letters with Harry. So what's his name? And hint, it's not Padfoot.
Is it like Scruffles or something?
I'll give it to you. It's Snuffles.
Snuffles. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was something dumb. Because I remember it from from that book. But yeah. So I got half a point there. So
Yeah. I mean, I gave you a full point because
okay.
Snuffles and Scruffles, you're like one level. You got one letter off. You
all
got
right,
it.
I'll give myself a point, yeah.
All right, last question. When is James Potter's alias Prong's birthday?
I have no idea on that one. No idea. I'm gonna guess a month.
Okay.
Maybe the same as Harry, July.
That's incorrect.
Oh.
The correct answer is March 27th, 1960. And you can find that on his gravestone when they go to Godric's Hollow in book 7.
Okay.
Those were hard ones, though.
Yeah, those were tough ones. I think 1 out of 3 is good for those 3.
Yeah. You got the Snuffles one. That was good.
And I was close. I identified the conversation that the first one was kind of revealed in. So
yeah, half point there. Yeah.
Okay, so 1.5 out of 3. So I'm 50% on that one.
Well, that's all for trivia. Back to the episode.
But yeah, so that's sort of I guess the like why you would become an animagus. We've sort of already covered this, but disguise. But in terms of what would you think would be the best thing to become, like most advantageous?
I don't know. I guess I tried to think before this episode. I tried to think about what I thought I would become. I don't know that that's the most advantageous though. Mm-hmm. But I think, it's got to be some sort of animal that has more skill set than you, or maybe is bigger, or maybe a better fighter.
A kangaroo.
A kangaroo?
Yeah.
I think I was thinking more like a bear.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking like if that would, I don't think that would be the most advantageous. That definitely would be something that you could use to your advantage though, if you're like a tiger or a giant, like something that is a predator, like a big predator. That would be the best. Not best, but that would be a really, really good option. I was thinking, especially in the wizarding world, probably optimal would be an owl.
Yeah.
And then I think second best is any other sort of bird, flying animal, because I feel like that's the thing. I feel like if it's not a bird, it's sort of just okay. We're going for something that is small. Like I'd rather be a cat than a bear, because at least for a cat you sort of blend in and stuff. You can't really blend in as a bear. The only situation you're going to be using a bear in is like combat.
My mind went straight to combat.
Yeah, but yeah, what were you thinking you would become?
So I was trying to look up facts about animals, and I was trying to be honest with myself about my personality and what animals matched up with my personality, and like
you took a BuzzFeed quiz. What animal am I?
No, but I should have. So I came up with 2 ideas, basically. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah.
So the first one, this is going to seem kind of random, but I thought maybe a goose.
Okay.
Because
that's good.
So geese they're loyal, they mate for life, they're very protective of their partner and their offspring. Okay. And they're known to be affectionate to others, like in their group. They'll, for example, they'll care for the sick within their little group. Okay. And they're social with other animals, other types of animals and humans. And I saw something that said they enjoy preening their feathers, foraging for food, and collecting items like twigs and bark to make their little home improvements to their nest.
Okay.
And I feel like those are all things that I enjoy.
Bringing branches back to your house? This is a cool stick.
I
guess you do that at Home Depot or whatever. You're like, oh, this is a cool.
Exactly. I thought, bringing like decorations and trying to get furniture and trying to improve your house, or like I took the preening feathers to be almost like, doing your makeup or your hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Human equivalent. So that's why I thought maybe goose would be good. And then my second idea for myself was, they say people are like their dogs.
Uh-huh.
So I personally have an Australian cattle dog, or a blue heeler. If you've seen the show Bluey, you know what kind of dog that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see her behaviors, and I feel like that kind of matches me. So basically, like, she's really loving to only select people. She's a really hard worker, and she's like loves to be productive. She's on the smaller side, but she's pretty like feisty, not afraid to be like confrontational with other humans and animals. And she's aggressive when unknown people or dogs like get too close to her.
Okay. Yeah.
So I felt like that aligned with me.
Yeah. That's a pretty good representation. You definitely don't get aggressive. You probably, I feel like you'd be uncomfortable with just odd people. Which I feel like a lot of people would be. But
I'm not the type of person that's just gonna like hug any person, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we also, if you just rewind this a little bit, I just talked about how I wanted to turn into a bear. So
yeah, that was an instant. Yeah.
I also came up with two for you, Calen. Or what do you think?
Yeah. Go for it.
So the two I came up with for you were, so the first one is a dolphin.
Okay.
I feel like you might not like that because it's an aquatic animal.
Useless, but I'll take it. Okay. I appreciate it. Smart, very, very smart.
You can explore the whole ocean. If you're
right.
If you're a dolphin, you have a dolphin and human available to you. So the entire earth and the entire ocean are all available to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'll take it. I mean, it definitely would help in certain situations. Definitely.
What situations?
I'm trying to in water-based situations, essentially. I'll just in water-based situations. That's about the limit. I don't know of any other situations, like if there's like a fight and I just transform into a dolphin, that's not going to help anybody.
I'm just thinking of you, like you're talking to someone and then you're like, want to leave the conversation, so you just transform and then like jump into the pool.
Yeah, or like there is a fight going on, but like come on, let's go over here and fight, guys, like next to a body of water, like let's fight in the lake. People do that.
You could go to SeaWorld and get join the show.
Yeah, I could communicate with. I could be their advocate.
Yeah.
The Shamu's advocate.
But yeah, I picked that for you because they're known to be very friendly and sociable and just generally happy animals. But you're not, in my opinion of you, you're friendly and sociable, but it's not because you're not intelligent. Like, so dolphins are extremely intelligent, one of the most intelligent animals, and that's what I think of you. So, okay,
yeah, I appreciate that. Again, not the most useful one, but I'll take it. I appreciate the thought. I appreciate the effort into that one. Yeah, what's my next one? Hopefully, I'll be honest. I hope it's a little bit more practical.
Okay, I don't know what you're.
You gave me dolphin and cow or something like that.
Okay, your second one is a capybara.
Okay, all right. That's a better one. That's a better one. Not I wouldn't say that's particularly useful as a dog or a goose, because typically I do think that you chose two that would stick out like a sore thumb. I mean, dolphin obviously sticks out like a sore thumb, but if you see a giant rat, you're probably not sneaking by anybody. Like at the least or at the most, you're hoping that somebody may confuse that with like a large raccoon or something like that, and maybe wouldn't be as alerted, but nobody's going next to that thing. So I gotta be honest, disappointed with my prospects as animagus, but you know, how about this? I probably won't choose to go through the process if those are my two options.
Those are your two options. I mean, capybaras, they're very social with humans and other animals, and I've seen them, you know, if you like go to zoos, I've seen them in the same containment areas with alligators and
they're cool guys. Yeah, they're great. Like, they're chill dudes, chill guys and gals.
So like an alligator wouldn't attack you. I feel like other animals would just be like, I feel like they might actually blend in because other animals, everyone just gets along with them.
Right. But I feel like you are to be like the main use case of this is to blend in and sneak around like other people. You know,
like the true transformation, you don't get to choose.
I don't. You know, what is it? What's the saying? You get what you get, and don't throw a fit. You know, so I'm just pointing out things. I'm just saying, but I'm not going to throw a fit. I'm not going to throw a fit because I'm just not going to become an animagus.
You're not going to throw a fit because you're a capybara / dolphin.
Yeah. And if I'm choosing between those two, again, if I have a choice, I would choose capybara.
Okay, that's interesting. I thought you would go for dolphin, but when you give your explanation, that makes sense.
You know what? I don't know. Because I feel like capybara, there's not really a situation I would choose to become a capybara, but there are situations I would choose to become a dolphin. So I'm gonna renege on that. I'm gonna choose the dolphin if there's one. Okay. What of the two that you chose for yourself? Which one will you choose? Power rank them.
I mean, my dog has a pretty nice life, you know, just like living as a domestic dog. So I feel like dog's a good way.
Dog is solid choice.
Yeah.
For anybody. If you get dog, if your Patronus is a dog, you better try to become an animagus. I'm just explore it, you know, because at the least you just become a dog. And I guess is transforming frowned upon to do it around muggles? Like, could you just go and just be a dog in a park? Catch some balls?
That's a good point. I mean that we just talked about this. McGonagall was a cat in a Muggle neighborhood, and
that's true.
And then Hagrid and Dumbledore show up, and Dumbledore doesn't give her a hard time about it. He's just like, "Oh, you're a cat now."
Yeah. Well, Dumbledore is kind of a rule breaker himself, so he's not going to get all hot and bothered about it. But I see your point. I was just thinking about, like, if you were a dog, you go to a park and you're looking for pets. You know, you're like, you're stealing toys from other dogs, playing pranks on other dogs, being a big troublemaker. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's true. Did you have ideas for what you thought you'd be or what you thought I'd be?
No, I didn't come with submissions. I did come with like I think the best one would be an owl or a cat. I think, or even a dog. I think it would go owl, cat, dog in that order for animagus.
Owl. I think owl would be really good because you could even like intercept people's letters or, you know, trick people into giving you letters to get information. And you're going to blend in because there's owls flying around all over the place. People are sending letters. Like, that's a great, if you want to blend in the wizarding world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that, I did have, what would you want your animagus to be as one of my questions I was going to bring up. But I put down some sort of bird. That's all I really put down. I think I would want to be some sort of bird. Not a pigeon, though. Pigeons are gross and weird looking.
Yeah, and maybe aren't even real, right?
You just become a robot or something. But I don't think I would want to be a cat, though. I did write down I wouldn't want to be a cat or a dog, and I reference hairballs or fleas because that would suck. But yeah,
true.
here's a question: if you were able to do it in secret, if you were able to do the transformation in secret, like achieve the go through all the steps of the process, would you reveal yourself?
To
Would
the
you register
ministry?
yourself?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the penalty is.
The penalty is to go to Azkaban.
Is
and
it life, or is it just like a couple years, and then you get registered too? You know,
I think it's life.
oh,
I'm pretty sure it's life. Yeah. So I really don't want to go to Azkaban for life. So that's a big motivator there. But I think if I was going through all the pain and trouble of doing this, it would be for good reason. Like I would be trying to go under the radar to hide from Death Eaters or something. There would be a bigger threat, so I would not register. But now that we're talking about this whole thing, I think I wouldn't even do it. It just seems like not worth
I probably
it.
wouldn't do it. But like you said, if you are, it would be unfortunate if you are on the run from Death Eaters and your Patronus is something like super not helpful. that would suck. Like if you're like, oh man, I could do this, but oh man, I have to become a dolphin.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah,
Or like a fish.
It seems like it would be really tough if you had something that wasn't very useful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like the Marauders got kind of lucky with theirs.
Yeah.
You know, but also like Scabbers is a rat. Peter's a rat.
Mm-hmm. That's not the best. Yeah.
He's just a narc in all ways.
Yeah. Does anybody else in the story have a rat as a pet? Or because typically they have owls, frogs. And cats, right? They have frogs.
Toads, yeah. I'm confused by this because in the first book, there's rules about the school or like what you need for the school and everything, and it says you can have a cat, a toad, or an owl. I don't even know if it says you can have a rat or a dog or any other kind of animal, and we never hear of anyone else having a rat. So I'm not really sure how Ron is getting this rat.
Yeah, odd choice.
Odd choice.
Was it Percy's? It was Bill or Charlie?
I think it was Percy's first. And then,
odd for Percy. Percy, little, do-good rule follower.
Yeah.
Brings a rat into the fold.
I know. I want to know more about how did Scabbers get himself adopted by Percy in the first place? Like did he just show up at the house one day?
Yeah, it's a good backstory. Yeah, and he just hung around.
He just wouldn't leave.
Because Miss Weasley doesn't seem like a person that would let a rat just chill in a house, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. But there's also a lot going on in that household, and
so anything could happen,
Could a rat slip in?
Oh, the kid comes home with a rat. Whatever, keep it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think my last one is, what would your giveaway be? Because McGonagall has glasses and sort of makes a print on her face. Rita Skeeter has, I think, the markings of her glasses on the shell, on the beetle shell. Like, what would your marking be that's your giveaway?
That's a good question. So to clarify too, for people that are like, as far as animagi go, your clothing and your jewelry meshes into your scales or fur when you transform. And I read that it could be like a little bit uncomfortable. So some wizards do prefer to like go naked when they could transform. But basically that's why you don't have to like take off all your clothes and then transform. It just meshes in. And then supposedly key features about yourself, either inherent or adopted, like glasses, like jewelry, if you're like wearing the same necklace every day, that has an impact on like the look of your animal as well. So to your point, I'm trying to think about what are the characteristics that kind of define me. I don't think I'm someone who is consistent with like my fashion. I mean, you've known me for over a decade, so you can tell me, but I think probably my defining characteristic are maybe my eyebrows. So I think my animal form would have like really defined eyebrows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't think of one for you. I thought of one for me, which I feel like I would have some sort of coloring. It's a pattern called piebald, because I'm bald.
Okay.
I have a piebald coloring or whatever. But that's just wordplay. I probably would look like I have a hat on
Yeah.
to some extent. I'm usually wearing a hat when I'm just kind of like casually, any sort of casual outfit. But I don't think I have. Maybe I would have like blue eyes, like my animal would have blue eyes, no matter what. But yeah, it's kind of tough because McGonagall has it's her glasses, right? Are her like defining feature, and then Rita Skeeter also her glasses are her defining feature, right? Her like green glasses or
Yeah.
whatever, and those are the markings that they leave behind.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of the other ones. Like, it's important to note too, like, if you have something like, for example, Peter Pettigrew, cuts off his finger, that also transfers to your animal form. So that's why him as a rat is like missing a finger. Curious, I don't think they talk about characteristics per se. I mean, I think he has dark hair and he's a black dog, but they do talk about like sometimes when he laughs, it sounds kind of like a bark, like a dog. So I think there's maybe something about like the way you speak too, maybe that transfers.
Yeah, that's all the other stuff that I had.
Okay. The one thought that I had was, so this is kind of a crazy theory, but I guess this wouldn't really do anything, but we know that you can transform into an animal without a wand if you are an animagus. And so when Voldemort showed up to the Potter's house and James goes to answer the door, he could have just turned into a stag, and then Voldemort would just be like, "What the heck is this deer doing in this house?"
Yeah. It would help if you looked through the little the keyhole or whatever, and was able to tell. I mean, do you think Voldemort was like looking through the thing?
For the listeners, Calen's like leaning towards his podcast camera. Getting like the fisheye look, right?
Yeah.
I think in the context of the story, like they were so confident that they were safe that he's just like casually laughing and opening the door. But yeah, I just like to think in my head of him transforming and then Voldemort just being
quick, turn into it. Quick, James, turn into the deer. Turn into a deer. Hurry.
I mean, Voldemort's still gonna blast it out of the way.
Yeah,
so But I think it would buy a little bit of time just from the pure like confusion,
shock. Yeah. I mean, I wonder. Well, nobody knew that he was animagus either, so Voldemort wouldn't have known.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Did Wormtail or Peter say something? Maybe.
That's a good point. I don't know. I know eventually Voldemort knows when he returns that they're all animagi, but I don't know if Peter told him in that first, before Voldemort goes away, when he revealed the Potters, if he said, "Oh, by the way, if you see a deer in the house,
answer the door to a deer could answer the door." Just a heads up. And he doesn't explain why. Like, he's not like, "Oh, yeah, because he's an animagus." Wormtail is just like, just a heads up. Could be a deer answering the door. No reason.
Don't be alarmed.
Yeah, don't be alarmed. Just get that one out of the way and just keep going in the house,
Yeah, that's definitely what happened.
Yeah.
My other theory, or I guess question or thing that I feel like is that one of the most interesting parts of this is, so Sirius says that he's able to communicate on some level with Hermione's cat.
Yeah.
Right?
Crookshanks.
So it seems Crookshanks. So yeah, it seems interesting. Like that could be something you become kind of a Dr. Dolittle kind of situation where you can communicate with other animals. Like I kind of have a theory that, Sirius flies off on Buckbeak, and I feel like maybe when he in all that time hanging out with Buckbeak, maybe he turned into a dog and then they were able to just kind of hang out together.
You think Buckbeak was alarmed? He just turns it. I mean, hippogriffs are naturally not trusting. So the person that's been riding on your back for, I don't know, however long, to their little hideout just transforms into a dog. I feel like if I was a hippogriff, I'd be like, well, nobody told me this. Like, I didn't sign up to a dog. I didn't sign up to be ridden by a dog.
That's true.
But yeah, but definitely they could communicate. Probably like be like, no, cool, hey, cool. Look, I'm cool.
It's me.
Yeah,
because it seems like when he's in dog form, he's able to get Crookshanks to trust him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, and I guess I was thinking more like later when they're in Grimmauld Place and he still has Buckbeak. Maybe in like the 5th book, and he's stuck in the house, and Buckbeak's stuck in the house. Like maybe he just goes upstairs and then he hangs out with him as a dog, and they just kind of chill. My
buddy, my bro, Buckbeak. Yeah, definitely. I think that would definitely help if you're lonely and you have some animals around and you can communicate. I don't know how much Crookshanks was able to communicate back with him. Maybe it's more of a one-way thing. We never know, but like he was directing Crookshanks to do those things, not necessarily like Crookshanks came across the dog and was like, "What's up?" The dog was more like, "Do this and that," and the cat was like just blankly staring. It was like, okay, and then we just went off and did it.
I don't know. I mean, Crookshanks is supposed to be a smart cat, and that's why he's Hermione's cat. They're one and the same.
Yeah. There was a theory I did read that maybe what's Filch's cat's name?
Oh, Mrs. Norris.
Yeah, there was a theory that she was an animagus of some kind, but I think that was like in the canon was not. Was kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
I feel like if Mrs. Norris was an animagus, she would, when she got petrified, would turn back to a human. I feel, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Because if you get killed in your animal form, you turn back into a human. So I feel like something like petrifying, you would turn back. That's all for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed delving into Animagi with us. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube so you never miss an episode. And please share the magic with your friends and fellow Harry Potter fans.
Hopefully you'll join us next week when we discuss the scene where the Weasleys smashed the Dursleys' fireplace from Book 4. Until then, happy reading, happy listening, and may you never get a bogey-flavored Bertie Bott's jelly bean.